Well, good evening. This is Houndog Steve coming to you on the 26th of November. So we are just a very scant 4 weeks away from Christmas. Can you believe it? 4 weeks away. Anyway, first story of the evening. Vitamin D gets an A+. Now, this is an interesting little story by Dr. Gifford Jones, and I can add some anecdotal evidence myself because I've been taking vitamin D now for a long time. My grandmother is Maltese, so I tend to have that olive complexion. I tan very easily in the summer. I tend not to burn, but I do not gather as much vitamin D as somebody who has just that regular old white skin. So I don't have the same kind of uptake of vitamin D as other people do, and of course because I'm living in a northern latitude in Canada, in the wintertime we get a lot less sunshine. So I take 10,000 units per day, and I have not noticed any harmful effects whatsoever from taking that much vitamin D. What I can tell you is that if you have an unexposed piece of skin that is open to the sunlight, in 15 minutes it will gather 25,000 units of vitamin D. Okay, the sunlight reacts with cholesterol on the skin and it creates vitamin D. Now you can tell that vitamin D is a very important vitamin because we create it for ourselves. Sunlight reacting with cholesterol creates our own vitamin D. So this is an absolutely essential vitamin. But listen to some of the things. I was very surprised. I didn't realize all of the things that vitamin D does do. So let me see. Editor-in-Chief of Orthomolecular News Service, a world authority on vitamins, Saul says that colon cancer is clearly related to vitamin D deficiency. He added that D levels are also associated with ovarian cancer. That research by the National Library of Medicine reveals that there are 300 papers on how vitamin D helps fight prostate and breast cancer. Dr. Michael Hollick at Boston University, an authority on vitamin D, believes vitamin D's greatest strength is its role in fighting cancer. He says studies showing that people living in higher latitudes who get less sun exposure have an increased risk of dying from almost all types of cancer, particularly breast, colon, prostate and skin cancer. Since we're approaching the winter, I asked Dr. Saul about seasonal affective disorder, a condition when people feel psychologically down during the winter months. Saul says that the vitamin D acts as a mood stabilizer. He recommends vitamin D to fight this disorder. In the book Saul authored with Dr. Abraham Hoffa, Orthomolecular Medicine for Everyone, he reports that the lack of vitamin D is also associated with psoriasis, which can be treated with topical vitamin D, and that a deficiency in vitamin D is also linked to diabetes, heart failure, hypertension. But don't most of us receive enough vitamin D from the sun? We get some, but not as much as you think. It depends on where you live. For instance, if you live at latitude above 35 degrees north, which includes Boston, Philadelphia and all of Canada, vitamin D production from sunlight ceases. Okay, it stops from October to the end of February due to the angle of the sun's rays. You could stand outside naked all day and not receive enough sunlight to produce vitamin D. What's the right dosage? The answer is not easy, as there is some debate. Obese people need more vitamin D as fat holds onto it, making it less available to the body. Dr. Saul claims 10,000 IU daily as safe. Others suggest a dosage between 1,000 and 3,000 daily, so check with your own doctor. And this seasonal affective disorder is another interesting little item because, I get down in the winter as well, and since I've been taking vitamin D, I don't feel down at all. It seems like things don't bother me as much. I don't get pulled into that little dark cloud, and I remain positive right through the dark winter months. Now, I'm not recommending that you take 10,000 IUs. I'm just saying that that is what I take, and I've had no negative reaction. I've been taking that for over, I would say, 10 years now. And I did have a test for vitamin D. I was taking 1,000 units and I was low, and so I upped it to 5,000 and I was just normal, and so on my own volition I decided to go to 10,000. Anyway, you do your own investigation and do what you please, but it is definitely a very important vitamin, and it's important for us who live in the Northern Hemisphere to add a little bit to our diet through supplements. Okay, next story. Killing midget, right thing to do. This is about the term in athletics, the midget leagues, and somebody said that they thought that it was insulting to midgets, and could they remove the term midget from all athletics, because just about every field of athletics from hockey to soccer have some kind of midget league. And you know, I actually applaud them for this, as there's actually no reason why we need to call them midgets. And yeah, we can call it a youth league or a minor league, or you know, a junior league. But yeah, we can certainly use some other name instead of midget. Maybe this is just my Monty Python-esque sense of humour, but I'll just read a little bit here. The recent developments were applauded by Dwarf Athletic Association of Canada Director Alan Redford. Dwarf Athletic? Isn't dwarf a kind of a negative term too? Anyway, it just seems that the Dwarf Athletic Association of Canada should be applauding the midget be removed as a term in sports. So maybe this will get them to recognise the little bit of irony that's attached to that story. Okay, next story. This is a bit of a sad story, actually. There is really no other reason I'm bringing this to you other than it tells its own story. A great loss. Okay, this is a young up and coming lawyer, and you don't need to know his name, that's not important, but he and two other friends killed themselves with a fentanyl overdose. Okay, so this is a drug addiction that cuts across every colour, every gender, as it was two men and a woman, and every profession. If this young man was going through as a lawyer, he is obviously, well, he's got a little bit of backing, and he's obviously got some really good brains going on there, because you don't enter these courses. So this is a cautionary tale about all of these drugs, and fentanyl is one of the worst because it is so strong, and a fraction extra can turn into an overdose oh so quickly. Okay, so that's the 3 stories for this evening. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please like and subscribe below. Okay, so this is Houndog Steve signing off. You take care, you have a great week, and we'll be talking to you real soon. See you now. Bye.